Stop for a second and listen carefully, because this might save you from regret you don't see coming. Not everyone deserves access to your space. Not everyone deserves your peace. And once you let the wrong person into your life, especially into your home, you may not be able to undo the damage. This is not about fear. This is about wisdom. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear could change the way you choose people forever. Your home is more than walls and furniture. It is your energy, your peace, your sanctuary. It is where you recover, think, grow, and protect your mind from the chaos of the outside world. The Stoic mindset teaches that you must guard what is yours, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. And one of the biggest mistakes people make is allowing the wrong individuals into their private space. The first kind of person you should never invite into your home is the one who thrives on negativity. This person complains constantly, sees problems in everything, and drains your energy without realizing it, or sometimes even enjoying it when they enter your space. They don't bring peace. They bring tension. They criticize, gossip, and leave behind a heavy atmosphere that lingers long after they're gone. You may think you can tolerate them. You may think it's not a big deal. But over time, their energy affects you. Your mood shifts. Your focus weakens. Your peace disappears. The Stoics understood that your environment shapes your mind. If you allow negativity into your space, you invite chaos into your thoughts. The second type of person is the one who does not respect boundaries. This person feels entitled to your time, your space, and your attention. They overstay their welcome. They ignore your limits. They make themselves comfortable in ways that feel wrong, but you stay silent to avoid conflict. But silence in the face of disrespect is not peace, it is weakness. And over time, this kind of person begins to take more and more from you. They blur the lines between what is yours and what is theirs. They make your home feel less like your own. A Stoic understands the importance of boundaries. You must protect your space without guilt. Because if you don't define your limits, others will define them for you. The third type of person is the one who pretends to support you but secretly envies you. This is the most dangerous one. They smile in your presence but compete in silence. They listen, but not to understand, to compare. They watch your progress, not to celebrate, but to measure themselves against you. Inviting this kind of person into your home is like opening the door to hidden tension. Their energy is subtle, but powerful. They may not say anything directly, but their presence feels off. Conversations feel forced. Trust feels uncertain. The Stoic mindset teaches awareness. Not paranoia, but awareness. You must learn to observe people not just by their words, but by their patterns, their behavior, and the way they make you feel. Your home should be a place of calm, a place where your mind can rest, a place where your energy is protected. Not everyone deserves access to that. This does not mean you isolate yourself. It means you choose wisely. You become intentional about who you allow into your life. Because every person you invite into your space leaves something behind, either peace or disturbance. Strong people are not the ones who accept everyone. They are the ones who choose carefully. You don't need to explain your boundaries. You don't need to justify your decisions. You don't need to feel guilty for protecting your peace. Because at the end of the day, your life is your responsibility. If someone brings negativity, they don't belong in your space. If someone disrespects your boundaries, they don't belong in your space. If someone carries hidden envy, they don't belong in your space. It's that simple. The more you protect your environment, the stronger your mind becomes. The stronger your mind becomes, the more focused your actions are. And the more focused your actions are, the better your results. Everything is connected, so be careful who you let in, because once someone has access to your space, they have access to your energy. And your energy determines your life. If this message opened your eyes, then you are already thinking differently. And that's the first step toward growth. Stop and think about this for a moment. Not everyone who smiles at you deserves access to your life. Not everyone who talks to you deserves your trust. And most importantly, not everyone deserves to step into your home. Because your home is not just a place. It is your peace. It is your energy. It is your mind, unguarded. And once you allow the wrong person into that space, the damage is not always immediate, but it is always real. Most people don't realize this until it's too late. They open their doors too easily. They welcome people without observing them. They assume good intentions without paying attention to patterns. And slowly, without noticing, their peace begins to disappear. At first, it's small. A little discomfort, a strange feeling, a sense that something is off. But they ignore it, and that's where the mistake begins. Because your intuition speaks quietly, but it speaks the truth. The Stoic mindset teaches awareness. Not just of your thoughts, but of the people you allow into your life. Because the people around you shape your mindset more than you think. If you surround yourself with chaos, your mind becomes chaotic. If you surround yourself with negativity, your thoughts become negative. If you surround yourself with the wrong people, your life slowly reflects it, and your home is where this influence becomes strongest. This is why you must be selective. Not everyone deserves access. Not everyone earns a place in your space. The person who brings negativity does not just complain, they influence how you see the world. They turn simple situations into problems. They drain your energy with constant pessimism. And after they leave, you don't feel lighter, you feel heavier. This is not coincidence. Energy is real. And when someone constantly carries negative energy, they transfer it into your environment. You may think you are strong enough to ignore it, but even the strongest mind is affected by repeated exposure. This is why the Stoics valued their environment. They understood that peace is not something you find, it is something you protect. The person who disrespects boundaries is even more dangerous in a different way. They don't come with obvious negativity. They come with comfort. They make themselves at home too quickly. They assume access. They blur the line between respect and entitlement. At first, it feels harmless. But over time, it becomes suffocating. They don't ask. They take. They don't consider. They assume. They don't respect. They expect. And if you are not careful, you will start adjusting your life around them. You will feel uncomfortable in your own space. And that is when you have lost control. Your home should never feel like that. It should feel like yours, completely. The moment someone makes you feel otherwise, something is wrong. And then there is the one you cannot easily detect. The one who hides behind smiles. The one who appears supportive. The one who says the right things, but feels wrong. This is the person who carries silent envy. They don't show it openly, but you feel it in the way they react to your progress. In the way they compare instead of celebrate. In the way their energy shifts when you succeed. This kind of person is dangerous because they are subtle. They don't attack directly. They observe. They compare. They compete quietly. And when you allow them into your home, you are allowing hidden tension into your peace. The Stoics believed in observing reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. And reality is simple. Not everyone who is close to you is good for you. This does not mean you become cold or distant. It means you become aware. You learn to read people beyond their words. You pay attention to patterns, not promises. Because patterns reveal truth. Words can be controlled. Behavior cannot. If someone constantly brings negativity, that is who they are. If someone repeatedly ignores your boundaries, that is who they are. If someone consistently shows signs of envy, that is who they are. And it is your responsibility to respond accordingly. Not with anger, not with confrontation, but with distance, quiet distance. Because sometimes the strongest thing you can do is not to argue, but to step back. To protect your space, to protect your peace, to protect your mind. There is a powerful shift that happens when you start doing this. You stop feeling drained. You stop feeling overwhelmed. You start feeling in control again. And that control brings clarity. You begin to think better, act better, live better, because your environment is no longer working against you. It is supporting you. This is why successful people are extremely selective. Not because they think they are better, but because they understand the cost of letting the wrong people in. They understand that peace is expensive, and they are not willing to pay for it with chaos. So they choose carefully. They observe quietly. They act intentionally. And most importantly, they protect their space. Because your space is where your life is built. Your habits are formed there. Your thoughts are shaped there. Your future is created there. And if the wrong people have access to that space, they influence everything. So be careful. Not everyone deserves a seat in your life. Not everyone deserves a place in your home. Not everyone deserves your trust. And that's okay. Because your life is not about pleasing everyone. It's about protecting what matters. So from now on, move differently. Observe more. Speak less. Choose carefully. And most importantly, protect your peace. Because once your peace is gone, everything else becomes harder. But when your peace is strong, everything else becomes possible. There is something most people never realize until it's too late. Not everyone who enters your life leaves the same way. Some leave quietly, some leave memories, and some leave damage. The kind of damage you don't see immediately. It shows up later, in your thoughts, in your habits, in the way your peace slowly disappears without you understanding why. This is why the Stoic mindset is not just about controlling your emotions, it is about controlling your environment. Because your environment shapes your mind more than your intentions do. You can have the strongest goals, the clearest vision, the highest level of motivation, but if the wrong people are constantly around you, they will slowly pull you away from your path. Not suddenly, but gradually, and that's what makes it dangerous. You won't notice it at first. It starts with small compromises. You adjust your time, you adjust your energy, you adjust your focus, and before you know it, you are no longer living intentionally, you are reacting. Reacting to people, reacting to situations, reacting to energy that does not belong to you. And this is where your power begins to fade. Because when you are constantly reacting, you are not in control. And when you are not in control, your life starts to drift. The Stoics believed that control is everything. Not control over others, but control over yourself, your thoughts, your actions, your environment, and your home is the center of that control. It is where you reset, where you think, where you recover, where you become. So if the wrong people have access to that space, they are not just visiting, they are influencing your life at its core. Think about the last time someone left your presence and you felt drained. Not physically, but mentally. That heavy feeling, that quiet discomfort, that sense that something was taken from you. That is not random. That is energy being transferred. And if that happens outside your home, it's already powerful. But if it happens inside your home, it becomes personal. Because now your safe space is affected. Your mind associates that feeling with your environment. And slowly, your peace begins to weaken. This is why you must become aware of how people make you feel, not just what they say. Words can be controlled, energy cannot. A person can say all the right things and still feel wrong. And when something feels wrong, it usually is, but most people ignore this. They override their intuition with politeness. They accept discomfort to avoid conflict. They allow access to avoid seeming rude. And in doing so, they betray themselves. Because every time you ignore your intuition, you weaken your self-trust. And self-trust is everything. Without it, you second-guess your decisions. You hesitate. You become unsure. But when you trust yourself, you move with clarity. You know when to allow. You know when to step back. You know when something is not right, even if you can't explain it. And that clarity protects you. Another thing you must understand is that not all harm comes from bad intentions. Some people are not trying to hurt you. But they still do because they lack awareness. They lack discipline. They lack control over their own behavior. And when someone lacks control over themselves, they will bring that lack of control into your life. They will bring chaos, inconsistency, unpredictability, disruption. And if you allow them into your home, you are allowing that chaos into your space. This is why you must judge people not just by their intentions, but by their impact. How do you feel after spending time with them? Do you feel focused or distracted? Do you feel calm or tense? Do you feel motivated or drained? These questions matter. because they reveal the truth. And the truth is what you must act on, not emotions, not excuses, not loyalty, but truth. There is also a deeper level to this. Sometimes, the people you need to distance yourself from are not strangers. They are familiar. They are comfortable. They are part of your routine. And that makes it harder. Because it's not just about protecting your space, it's about changing your habits. But growth always requires change. And change is uncomfortable. You may feel guilty. You may feel unsure. You may feel like you are doing something wrong. But you are not. You are choosing yourself. You are choosing peace over pressure. You are choosing clarity over confusion. You are choosing growth over comfort. And that choice will change your life. Because once you start protecting your space, everything improves. Your focus becomes sharper. Your mind becomes clearer. Your energy becomes stronger. And with that strength, your actions improve. And when your actions improve, your results follow. This is the chain. Environment, right pointing arrow; mindset, right pointing arrow; action, right pointing arrow; results. Most people try to fix the results, but they ignore the environment. And that's why they stay stuck. But you are doing it differently. You are starting from the root. You are protecting your space. And that changes everything. There is a level of peace that comes when you know that your environment is clean. Not physically, but mentally. No hidden tension. No draining energy. No unnecessary chaos. Just calm. Just focus. Just clarity. And in that environment, you become your best self. Because nothing is pulling you down. Nothing is distracting you. Nothing is taking your energy away. You are fully in control. And that is where real power comes from. So moving forward, remember this. Not everyone deserves access. Not everyone deserves your space. Not everyone deserves your energy. And that's not arrogance. That's awareness. That's discipline. That's self-respect. And if you continue to live this way, your life will change in ways you cannot imagine. One day, you will look back and realize something powerful. The moment you became selective was the moment your life started improving. The moment you protected your space was the moment your mind became stronger. The moment you chose peace was the moment everything began to align. So don't ignore this. Don't go back to old habits. Don't allow just anyone into your life. Be intentional. Be aware. Be disciplined. And most importantly, protect your peace at all costs. If you're serious about building this level of mindset, discipline, and control, subscribe to this channel right now, because this is where you come to become stronger, wiser, and impossible to break.